This is Pop Culture on Blast.
Hey, this is Josh.
This is Justin.
And I'm Tim. And we are Pop Culture on Blast. And today we are actually going to be discussing the current issue of Rotten Tomatoes being trolled for the movie for Captain Marvel. Because of the fact that a lot of people don't like Brie Larson. They don't like what she is because she's getting a little more political. You know, they turn it into, it's a girl power movie, which it kind of is. It is the first Marvel female lead MCU movie they've made. And that is a big deal. I'm not a fan of when they force the whole girl power thing as an issue. I like it to just be there. And you don't have to tell me it's a strong female movie. Just make a strong female movie. But a lot of people don't like it. So they've been trolling the Rotten Tomatoes score to the point to where it actually got to 26% with no one's actually seen the movie. This was before the premiere, and like no one, the numbers that have made that score that low have not even seen the movie yet.
They just started putting in. Scores, bad scores to bring it
bad
down.
Scores, ones.
Well, then why does anyone bother looking at Rotten Tomatoes if it can be that manipulated?
Well, today it's seen as the judge. You literally, if you go to a store and you're buying a movie, on the DVD or the Blu-ray cover would say,
I know,
certified fresh.
I know, but I mean, with the story you're telling, that it means nothing now.
Well, that's that's the audience participation score, not the industry score itself, which
right.
For some movies have turned out worse. The Aquaman had a higher audience score than it did industry score. And then I'm not a fan of the Rotten Tomatoes model.
So
because of stuff like this.
So given that the movie hadn't even been released yet, we know that these bogus scores were just people trying to trash the movie and bring it down. Has Marvel said anything about it?
Marvel is just letting it stand on its own merits. It got to the point to where Rotten Tomatoes disabled that feature. They shut it off. They're like, you haven't even seen it yet, so what's the point? It's the start.
Before release, right?
Before release.
Right.
They've already started in episode 9. Star Wars episode 9.
You mean trolling it?
They've already started trolling it. And then
don't these guys have anything else to do?
No, they don't, because as of a few hours ago, the internet,
IMDb?
DB. I always get that wrong.
This is breaking news.
They
DB Cooper.
They have actually been getting trolled on as well, to where they shifted from Rotten Tomatoes to them.
Well, I know you probably remember this. It was maybe 2-3 years ago at this time that IMDb shut down their forums because people were just trash talking, and IMDb wanted to be more professional appearing, and it just looked like trolls being trolls, and or people asking for nudie pics of this actress, and they were like, okay, that's enough.
That's the wrong database. There's plenty of databases for that. You know where to look.
And which databases would those be?
Mr. Skin.
I'm kidding.
Well, no, Mr. Skin is more professional.
Okay.
Just ask Seth Rogen. He knows.
That was funny.
So what? Are people doing this because, like you said, because Brie Larson is just being political? Or is it because they don't think a woman can be a superhero?
It's a combination of the both, because she was literally... People had an issue. They asked her why she's not smiling as much in the movies. Like,
in the movie, she's not smiling enough. She's a character. They know it's not her personally, right?
Literally, they asked her, well, her character isn't smiling. Why does that matter?
Why does it matter?
That's what she said. Did
Tony Stark ever smile?
Yes.
Well, yeah.
Actually, he smiled a lot.
Okay,
but he's Tony Stark. He's Robert Downey Jr.
You can't even see his face inside the costume.
They're different types of characters. She
has to smile because she's a woman. That's what we're getting at. Okay.
But she literally has said that, why does it matter if I smile? And people took offense to that, to where she's man-hating. James Woods.
No connection to the MCU whatsoever.
No, James Woods has an issue with this too.
Is James Wood his lesser brother?
with Marvel and the whole thing. Let me actually look that up.
For all this muckety-muck about a girl superhero, I mean, I think they're a little late in the game. I mean, first of all, we had the epic masterpiece that was Catwoman. And then, before that, Helen Slater showed us what a real Supergirl could be.
Hey, Halle Berry embraced the fact that was a total.
Why are you defending it?
No, she did. She accepted the Razzie and everything.
She accepted that
Yeah.
what she made was and I respect that
Well, I
from
respect
her.
it too,
No,
but she
that's
still
fine.
made it.
No, but the point being is that they've had female superhero movies before. The fact that
Right.
it's Marvel is, in my opinion, irrelevant. I mean,
Right.
it's a movie.
Well, but it's also the first female lead for the MCU. I mean,
That may be so.
They've created strong female characters, but they've
Sure.
never given anyone their own solo movie.
Well, I don't think we need to make an issue out of it. Just because it's a woman.
Well, apparently people are.
I know,
Now,
but I don't see the
I've seen
reason
some of
for
these
it.
interviews with Brie Larson, and it's an absolute turnoff. Like seeing her try and do this political thing is completely turns me the other way. But I can separate that from her characters.
Mm-hmm.
I don't have a problem with that. I don't understand why people get so up in arms. Tim, you were telling me about a coworker we have who will not see the movie
Yes.
because she is a female superhero.
yes.
Do explain. You talked to him. I didn't. He's a Trump supporter too. I suppose we should point that out.
Well, should we bring him up? Because I was.
Well, you don't have to bring him up by name. But
Well, no, he doesn't like what he sees as the shift to what do you call them again?
female superheroes.
Peggy Sue. What?
Peggy's.
Oh.
Mary Sue.
Sue.
Mary Sue.
Peggy Sue.
Now I got Buddy Holly. in my-
Same. That's why it popped in my head. No, he doesn't believe that the shift that they're shifting and taking away the stronger male characters. He hated Star Wars Episode 8 because he flat out says that's not his Luke Skywalker. They just took him and they gave all the power to the female because it's today and you have to give the girl power. It's like, if you have a reason to hate that movie, that's really not the reason to hate that movie, in my opinion. Just because you have a strong female character for that movie does not mean it has to be hated.
I mean, gosh.
Say it. We know you have an issue with this too,
Whoa.
but not in the way that he does.
No. I mean, I do think that the current landscape of Hollywood is very much pushing the whole pro-female lead thing. I don't have a problem with that, with the female being the lead of the movie or anything like that. I have a problem when they do it when it's being forced down your throat and it doesn't feel natural. I have no problem with the character of Rey. I don't mind that at all. I have issues with her character as written, but not because she's female. I do feel like she was put in there to bring about the female demographic. However, in the case of Star Wars, I don't think that hurt the movie at all. Thank God she has charm and charisma, and I enjoy watching her. Brie Larson, despite what they say about her not smiling in Captain Marvel, she's easy to look at. She's a decent actress. I have no problem. It's just this forced female thing. That's what bugs. But like I said, as long as it's organic in the context of the story, I'm okay, even if I know the politics behind it.
All right, so I found what James Wood has literally said. When you have a choice to pick a movie where the studio doesn't hate half its audience, it's okay. We'll be happy to sit this one out then. Because he's flat out saying that this movie is anti-white male.
Yeah, that was one of the things that I saw with her. She was at a junket, press conference, something to that effect. And I don't know what got her on the topic. I'll be honest, I didn't see what started. If someone asked her a question and it prompted her, or if she just launched into it. But she was talking about how white males rule Hollywood, and she kept saying, she kept like air quoting, I like white dudes, but you guys got to back up and let the people of color. It was like a largely not white audience.
Yeah.
So she's getting standing ovations. Black women need to be the stars of the movie.
Was she at that club from Adventures in Babysitting
I don't know.
or something?
We need more female black directors or female Hispanic directors, and you're like, okay, yeah, sure, there should be, but she had.
Was she
nothing
waving her
to
arms
say.
around like you were just now?
Jesus Christ, man! All I'm saying is she was very
Animated.
driven, very impassioned, and it completely turned me off because she's a human. I respect her, that she has beliefs. I have beliefs, but you're an actress, and I don't know what function she was at, but I'm pretty sure it was not a political function. Maybe I'm wrong, but just like the Oscars, I don't care. Unless I ask you personally, keep your opinions to yourself.
Well, was she prompted by a member of the press and it became a thing?
I don't know. But it seems like she's carried that baton and she's become a social justice warrior at this point. And I can see why that drives people away. It's annoying. People don't want it shoved down their throats.
Well, actually, before Tim had brought this information to me about Rotten Tomatoes, about this trolling, about the overwhelmingly white male thing, right? And pointed out that Rotten Tomatoes was actually like the dip in score of like amount of people that wanted to see it, whatever that was, this aggregate of,
Okay.
you know what I'm talking about?
No.
Because you're looking at me like I'm
I'm listening.
Spanish. Well, there was apparently, because she said all these political things and inflammatory things, that the score had dropped and like nobody wants to see it anymore. And I'm thinking, is that true? That sounds like bullshit to me, because I thought that people really wanted to see this movie, and I thought that there was a lot of buzz in the air about
I'm
it.
sure they do.
And I'm thinking, is that being made up? Are they making that up?
I
don't think anybody has any problems
I think they're
with
jumping the gun. I think they're
Right.
taking a very small group of people and implying that it's society.
Well, is this one of those fake news things? Is that what this is?
I don't think it's fake news as much as it's horribly over-exaggerated news. That's what I think. But things like Rotten Tomatoes, anything where you let the quote-unquote people, judge and put scores to it, you're going to have this problem. It's
Well, maybe it's a good idea that the Academy Awards don't include people voters, because look how we
Well, I
act.
agree. I mean,
Yeah.
this is what happens. You get this sort of thing.
Right.
Of course, the Academy Awards is just another tainted thing, but at least they give the facade of professionalism. You have
Quote facade.
and I gotta say, as a middle-aged white dude, I'm getting really sick of that term being used in the negative. Just because
What, white
I am
male?
a white male does not mean I'm anybody's enemy. And I'm getting really tired of being lumped into a group that, yes, by definition, I am a white dude, but I don't harbor any of these feelings that they, look at Ghostbusters, the Ghostbusters remake. Oh my gosh, all they could say is, it's old basement dwelling white dudes with beards. And I'm all of those things except basement dwelling. And I find that offensive, to be perfectly honest. That's not me. They're talking about a small group of people, and then they're lumping that into a large part of the population that does not represent that demographic. And I'm getting really sick and tired of it personally. Don't you guys? You guys are white dudes bearded just like me. Am I the only one that feels this way? It's annoying, and it's starting to piss me off.
Well, yes, you are, because you don't have a basement. So if you had a basement, I think you'd be fine.
I have no business to talk about it.
Well, no, I was actually just looking up exactly what she said.
Did you find it?
I did.
And?
If this is it. This is something she said last year when she said she doesn't need a 70-year-old white man telling her what didn't work for A Wrinkle in Time.
7-year-old?
That's
A
it.
70
That's
yes.
what I saw.
Wait,
I remember
7-year-old?
that.
A 70.
Okay.
Sorry.
What?
Yeah, she was talking
70.
about
Okay.
A Wrinkle in Time. I remember
yes.
that.
Now,
Okay.
I can agree with that, because she goes on to say that movie was not meant for him, so his judgment on there doesn't matter because they didn't make that for him. And I can agree with that. If this is what they're talking about, this is ridiculous.
But her comment's ridiculous.
That's be like if I sit here and when I tell people how I like the new Medea movie,
Yeah.
don't really need a white guy telling me if a Medea movie's funny, and that's the honest truth.
Hold on, you're joking, right?
No, I'm a big fan.
Oh my god.
That's one of my vices. I love Tyler Perry. I love
I
Medea.
actually, you know what? While we were deciding what we were going to discuss today, one of my topic suggestions was going to be Tyler Perry is a human piece of shit.
Oh, that's going too
I disagree.
far. Come on.
Well, it was all in good fun. Of
Yes.
course, I don't think he really is, but
No.
his movies are complete garbage.
No, they are fun to just sit there and not care about a damn thing.
In his defense,
that's
Well,
what
I
I
agree.
like.
I don't care about it.
I
but,
know you're thinking just of the Medea movies, but
Medea.
but he does other movies that are not
Acrimony
those.
was really good.
That's what everyone says. I haven't seen it. Like dramas or.
I think he's a blight on humanity. I think he needs to be eliminated.
I'm good.
Hold
We
on, hold
took
on.
a right turn.
Let's go
Hard
back to
right
Brie
turn.
Larson's comment here. Now, okay, look, Tim, this is a perfect example, right? Okay, you may not be the target demographic of a Medea movie, but if you stand up and say, I liked it,
What you do?
you are an audience member. You have
Yes.
every right. You have the same amount of rights that a black audience member has to say either I like it or I don't. A 70-year-old white man may or may not be the target demographic of A Wrinkle in Time, but he paid to see the movie.
No, he didn't. He was a reviewer.
Okay, well, still, he's reviewing
See,
a movie.
but
I mean,
then
that's
that-
all he's doing. It's not a racial statement.
I can't see it.
And what does Brie Larson have to do with A Wrinkle in Time, for that matter?
I think she was in it or something.
Oh, was she? Okay, well,
think
shit.
so.
If she was, I'm sorry.
No, because
But-
I have an issue with reviewers.
I know you do. You don't.
I
listen
don't
to
like
them.
reviewers because, like she said, I don't go to a movie for what you go for.
And that's-
Josh or you.
that's
I
fine.
go for different things. So you're gonna love a movie that I'm gonna hate, and I'm gonna love a movie you're gonna hate. Because I don't go to the theaters for the same reason. I don't watch a film for the same reason. We're all different. That's why I don't like reviews. I massively hate Rotten Tomatoes. I think Rotten Tomatoes is the blight of the movie industry. It is crap. There is no reason for this. I'm not going to see a movie because you tell me to see a movie or tell me not to.
Maybe Tyler Perry made Rotten Tomatoes.
Jesus.
Well, if he did, then there's your blight. I'm just proud of the fact that he made his studio. He built a studio actually in Georgia, and so a lot of people are able to film out there. He actually created a lot of jobs in the state of Georgia when he built his studio.
And that's cool.
I have much respect for the man.
for that.
And
That's
I
fine.
enjoy his movies because of the fact that I can go there and just laugh and not worry about my issues or my problems for the day. That's what a good comedy is. I don't want to think. I don't want it to be political. I just want it to be funny. And that's why I go to them, because I don't want it to be the Black Klansman or Green Book or worrying about Captain Marvel, what's happening in the next one. I just want to go there and enjoy myself for an hour and a half, 2 hours, go out, and my problems will still be there, but I was able to forget them for a little bit. And that's why I enjoy them.
This is the fire I wanted to see. I knew I had to stoke you a little bit, and I was
this
like,
is-
yeah.
We actually discussed this today, so I'm trying not to hold back anymore.
Okay, so, but I'm still coming back to the fact that you seeing any of those movies,
Yes.
your opinion is just as valid as anyone else's. Why
Yes.
should this 70-year-old white film that's his job, for God's sake? Why should he be raked over the coals because he, I'm guessing, didn't like that movie? So
Because
what? It's his opinion.
It is his opinion, and he has the right to that opinion.
course.
But she has the right to her opinion, saying that it wasn't meant for him.
But that's
like-
all she had to
No,
say. Why does she have to make it about a 7-year-old white dude? She just can say...
Because she just
I don't-
randomly threw that out there. It's one of those things when you're being interviewed and in a conversation where you're at, you're just like, yeah, I don't care what a 7-year-old white man has to say about a movie that's not meant for him. That's like if you go and you say you really hate Trolls.
I'm not a professional film reviewer.
It doesn't matter.
If I'm given the task of reviewing that movie,
But
that's
according to Rotten Tomatoes, you are, because you can go.
Well, that's-
and
you're
you
right.
can- so you
But the
are
difference
a
is-
film reviewer.
But I don't do that though. Well, other than podcasts like this, I don't have some sort of professional medium with which to voice my opinion on movies because, frankly, I don't think anyone gives a shit what I think. But if
What
I
do you
was,
call this, man?
Seriously.
but if I was being paid to review a Medea movie, I would do it, and I would hope that people reading it would just acknowledge that I'm talking about plot and character, and my race has nothing to do with it.
It does, though.
I understand that a
It's-
Medea movie is not intended for me. I do get that.
And just like A Wrinkle in Time is not intended for an older white guy. It's not.
I saw about 5 minutes of that movie. I don't think it's intended for anybody. It
I've
was
seen the
garbage.
whole thing. It wasn't meant for me. It was meant for younger kids. Fantasy. That's what it was meant for.
Fair
It
enough.
wasn't-
But, I've seen, snippets of Medea movies. I've seen other things he's been in, and I've seen little pieces of him. And what I like about Tyler Perry is that, yes, he's clearly making movies for a certain demographic. But I don't feel like he's... I don't feel his politics spilling out over it. I don't see him accepting an award at the Academy Awards and going on and on about race and all that. Just make a movie,
Okay,
man.
can we honestly say Do you see him winning an Oscar?
I was about to say that would be
I'm just making a point. All I'm saying is
understand.
he's just making movies. He's giving opportunities to filmmakers that might not otherwise get them. I'm okay with that. Now, if he's got his own studio,
Stop being so apologizing for.
I'm not apologizing
It's
for him.
scaring me.
I'm not apologizing. I appreciate that the guy is a hard worker and he's building up a studio. Good for him, man. I know he's outside of the movie world. Like, he went to 1 or 2 Walmarts in the areas, I think, where he grew up, which I would assume are more black areas. And he went into Walmart and said, I'm paying everyone's layaways. That's a great gesture, man. That's a great humanitarian gesture. Now, sure, you have to imagine that the bulk of that, given the area that they were in, were African American people. However, there were some, I'm sure, white people, Hispanic people in that. But his intentions, I think, were to help people like him, which I get. That's fine. I'm not judging him for that. If he has a studio, I'd like to see him give filmmakers of other races some chances. But I understand that he's going to focus more on people of color because he's one and feels that those opportunities are lacking. I get that. Totally cool for that. Round the Mountain, point is I can still see one of his works, one of his movies, and judge it. I don't think I am not allowed. And isolating quote unquote white males is, I think, a huge disservice, and it's only gonna continue this bullshit racism thing that is going on in the world. You know, you can have a girl superhero movie. It can suck and have nothing to do with the fact that the lead is a woman. It could just suck. Catwoman sucked. Supergirl, not a good movie. But their hearts were in the right place. They were trying.
It was a terrible script. That is not their fault.
Well, there was a lot more wrong with the Catwoman than just the script.
I'm not talking about Catwoman.
Are you dissing Supergirl?
The story and plot line made no sense.
The power source.
And the fact that they didn't even bring in Superman at all, not even for a cameo.
No. There was politics behind that.
There was a picture of him on the wall.
Yeah, he backed out at the last minute.
Yeah.
That was Christopher Reeve's fault. He was going to be in the movie.
Yeah, you can't do that.
He got cold feet.
Then here's what you do. Oh, hi, Clark. Picking up the phone and I'm talking to you.
You know nobody can see you doing the phone
So your
thing.
whole
Which is why I said picking up the
Nobody
phone.
can see you.
Your problem with Supergirl is that Clark Kent was not in it?
No, I wasn't a fan of the story.
Well, it was.
They had some amazing actresses and they had a terrible plot.
Well, agreed. And so what? Were you the target audience for Supergirl? Or was it supposed to be girls to empower them?
Technically, yes, we were the target audience.
Well, I
You think they're throwing her in that skirt for not guys? Come on.
Hey, man, they were just being faithful to the comic. I respect them for that.
And the reason why she's in that skirt is to get the guy. Yeah.
Well, it worked.
No, but see, that's not what I see. I never saw her, Brie Larson, as making this an issue. Not until it was made an issue.
You mean by the press?
By the press, by the studio. Come on, it even opens up. A hero. I mean,
Is she
Her, a
continuing
hero.
to talk politics?
no,
and-
she's not actually. She's just like, yeah, she's just happy that this is the first Marvel female-led MCU movie.
And that's fine. I don't have a
And
problem
that is
with
fine. I don't have a problem with that.
Yeah, this just sounds like something they're trying to drum up. I mean, do you remember when Solo came out? And it wasn't not Lawrence Kasdan, it was his son. Like, they wrote it together. Not Jake Kasdan, but his other son, I think.
Oh.
They had written Solo together, and there was one of those kind of very brief, kind of not red carpet, but something similar to that interview with him. And the interviewer asked him if Lando was pansexual.
Right.
And the guy said,
Sure, why not?
he's like, oh yeah, sure, I guess, yeah, he could be.
And then he
and
became-
they blew
yeah.
it up and made it a thing. It's like, oh, he's pansexual. It's like, what? If I were the writer, I would have said, I have no idea what you're talking about.
Yeah.
But that actually makes sense, though.
But they're just making news.
I
They're
know.
making it up, and it's like, oh, he's pansexual now. Let's make it political.
And then people were up in arms about it, going, this movie can't be shown in China if he's pansexual. Hold on.
Wait.
Whoa.
He's not, not really. Not in the movie, anyway.
But they're taking a few things she said, and they're making something juicy out
On
of
both
it.
sides.
Sure.
Both
Yeah.
sides are to drum up people to go in.
I don't think it's to drum up people going in. I think it's to drum up people reading their articles.
Yeah.
That's it. That's not to create tickets. I mean, I don't think
I don't think
Marvel
that would
wants
create
that.
it.
Marvel
No.
doesn't want that controversy behind their movie.
No, because
Why
that's
would they
like
want
that
that?
Ghostbuster stink. No one wants that.
No, that's
except
terrible.
the people writing the articles. I agree.
So I think it's just. I mean, we're getting close to its release. I think tomorrow. Yeah.
What time?
Well, by the time this
6 o'clock.
pop comes out, it'll already have come out.
Okay, yeah. So Thursday,
You're going to the special fan event. I can tell. 'Cause it's
I got
6
my
o'clock.
tickets as soon
I
as
know.
Cinemark was selling them.
Of course you did. No. But I think it's close to release. They know people are searching for news about it, just like we are. We're doing a podcast about it. We know because there's a lot of buzz about it. The people are interested in it, so we're talking about it. So they're doing the same thing. They're like, well, people are interested in it. Let's create a news article about it. What has she said that's political
That
lately?
she said
there you
last June, by the way.
Yeah, it was a little while
This
ago.
was in June. And now it's being blown up into this bigger thing now that it's getting closer to release.
Yeah.
To where James Woods is like, okay, we just won't go see it.
finally got his name right.
Let's go see it. Leave me alone.
Why do you keep bringing it? Is James Woods in the movie?
No, he's not.
Why do you keep bringing up
is
James Woods?
like a thing?
Because he keeps bringing himself up. He's the one who did the distracted meme, the distracted boyfriend meme. He turned that into a Brie Larson thing, Captain Marvel, and what other movie is coming out?
What?
There was another movie. He turned it. He posted it on his Twitter.
A meme.
The distracted boyfriend meme.
I don't.
What is
I'm not
going on
following.
in
Okay,
James
hold
Woods'
on.
life
Right,
to
that he
where
needs
he's
to get-
dedicating energy to this?
Yeah.
I mean, why is he becoming what
Maybe
he...
he's just not on Family Guy enough anymore.
But, I mean, what's possessing James Woods to become this unappointed social justice warrior? Why? I don't... As if his movies are some sort of fine... The Hard Way? Are you gonna... I mean, hey, I like The Hard Way, but...
Of all the movies in his oeuvre,
I
and you
couldn't
picked
think
The
of
Hard
anything
Way?
else. No, I'm just saying.
Nothing?
It was a disposable 90s movie. It's like,
Well, yeah.
what I just don't understand. I mean, I could understand, at least I could assign reason to
Yeah.
someone like Richard Attenborough coming forward and speaking of the...
Does anybody even remember The Hard Way?
Okay.
If you asked me about the movie he did with Michael J. Fox, I would not be able to tell you the title.
You knew what I
Well,
was
no,
talking
I know what
about.
you're talking about now, but
All right,
this it?
so let me show you guys what it is.
Battle Angel moviegoer. Okay, so the idea is that attractive female hero is there only to distract the men. Am I getting that?
that's
No.
their sole purpose.
No, it's that they have a strong female character lead, and they're not bashing on the white males. So therefore, we're gonna go see that instead of seeing you because we want to see that more because it's a superhero movie too.
What? I'm sorry.
That's the Battle Angel movie.
No, I know. I'm not getting
No, it's okay. That movie has a strong female lead.
Battle Angel.
Yes.
Right.
So does Captain Marvel.
Okay.
So he's saying that the movie goers should go see that instead if you want to see, because they're not hating on men. This movie is.
I take it James Woods has seen Alita Battle Angel?
Probably not.
Well, then what the f- is he talking about?
Why is
How
he
do we
talking
know
at
that,
all?
Well, how does he know that Battle Angel doesn't rip on men? For that matter, who says Captain Marvel, the character or the movie, bashes men in any way? I mean, for God's sakes, comments, this is what I'm talking about. People making stupid comments like this. Did anyone see the first Thor movie where he spends half of the movie shirtless?
Yes.
It's marketing, people. You sell what works. Sex sells.
Well,
I mean, what's the
honestly,
big
if
deal?
I worked out as hard as he did, and I would want to be shirtless half the time too. I'm not gonna lie.
That's of course. I'm just saying
I
though.
mean-
It's any male. Find a movie where the lead is a black male. If he's good, ripped, whatever, that shirt's coming off. It is what it is.
Unless
it's
he's
not
in
new.
Baku, and then he's gonna wear clothes the whole time,
Fair enough.
which is what he did. Because he's the bigger black man.
Uh-huh.
He's the best friend.
Right. You guys get what I'm saying, though, right?
Yes.
I mean, I'm not alone in this.
Yes. No, but in this politically charged environment that we're in right now,
Yeah.
with women coming out and
Taking more prominent roles.
yes, but taking more prominent roles. But I mean, the whole issue we had, a year or two ago with the Me Too movements and
it's still going.
Women taking control of their careers and becoming more outspoken. That was just a part of it. This is something that's kind of spun off, and it's continuing. It's been there in the ether, and it will continue to be. And they're just being more outspoken, and that's fine. Mm-hmm. But now it's getting a little out of control. I think.
Well, of course it is.
Well, like anything else would.
Well,
everything does.
I read something not too long ago. I forget the movie. I want to say it was a comic book movie. They announced that this certain comic book movie was going to be made, and the next piece of news associated with that from the studio was, we're going to make, blah, 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 part 2, and we're going to make sure it's a female director. Okay, now you're pushing something. If she's qualified and you saw a movie that she did and you thought perfect fit, fine. But if you're seeking out a female director just so you can go forward and go, we're doing it with a female director, you're going to start getting into that whole business of, what do you call it in the workplace where you, I don't even know if it's a thing anymore, but where they have to hire certain amounts of certain races or
affirmative action.
Yeah, it's like affirmative action. At that, there's going to come it is exactly, and there's going to come a point where now you're demeaning the position by putting someone in there that it may not even be ready just because they are a certain demographic. And I think they're riding very dangerous territory by doing stuff like this. I'm not saying the people in these jobs now are not qualified. They probably are. But if they keep up, this is not a good trend.
I don't see it that way, truthfully. Because I've seen some of the stats to where how many female directors are actually being hired compared to males. Because it used to be that studios would be like, okay, we can't see a female seeing the vision we want it, and not giving them a chance because they're female. And that happened for decades and
it was a boys' club.
It was. Sure. But in order to break that up, you're going to have to seek out female directors. I agree with you on one point. I don't care if you're female or male. Just make a good movie. Mm-hmm. Entertain me. Be a Patty Jenkins. Be an Ayn Rand. I don't care. Just entertain me.
Well, remember Point Break was directed by a woman. The real Point Break.
Yeah, it was Catherine Bigelow.
I mean, yeah, sure.
I never would have thought who,
but it wasn't.
No, I never would have thought was it a man or a woman that directed that? No, because I didn't. Who cares?
It came out and people talked about it because they were like, a woman did that. But the point is that the studio didn't shove it down your throat. They hired who they thought would deliver the movie.
Well, now it is because of the fact that people are crying out for it that this isn't fair. We've noticed this. We're saying it now. It's not fair, and it's true.
I agree that, like we said,
it's going to get to the point to where it's going to be a bad thing. It always does.
Yeah, they'll go
this
too
stuff
far.
Always happens. They will go too far, and then it'll back off, and it'll find its balance eventually.
Yeah, maybe.
Unfortunately, right now we're in the time where they're going to want to see. We're going to hear the people. We need females. We need leads. We need this, and they're going to do it just because they're women and not if they're good or not.
Yeah.
Well, returning back to Rotten Tomatoes, Captain Marvel, I think that I think Rotten Tomatoes is
a blight on humanity.
A blight on humanity. Yes.
I concur.
I think that's, but I don't think it really matters whether it exists or not, because if it doesn't, something else will take its place. We've had film criticism since movies were being made, since they began to be made. Since that train pulled into the station, someone criticized and said that doesn't look real enough. But
it's not enough black and white.
So we're gonna have it in no matter what form. Perhaps if it is taken down or if it stops, that's and what it's replaced with, maybe we'll learn from the mistakes and it won't be so bad. But still, there is so many voices out there and so many people wanting to be heard, so many people wanting to sell something, that I think it's inevitable that it's going to continue. Mm-hmm. I think we would have to basically shut the internet down, and that's not
I was just going to say, we all three of us are from a dying generation that existed.
Is it really dying?
Well, we're not dying, but we're
all dying.
We're being aged out. We are, all three of us existed in a time pre-internet. We know what it's like to have a movie come out and know nothing about it. Mm-hmm. where all we had was the trailer.
Right.
We see both worlds, and so we see the toxicity that the internet is, not just the internet, but things like Rotten Tomatoes, and everyone should have their voice. They're entitled. But you don't always have to share it.
No.
You know, like Instagram, Twitter, and all that. We don't need to know every thought you have every second that you have it. We're right on that tipping point, you know, us. We're not the old guys that just can't accept any technology, and we're not the youngins who post everything, you know, and we can keep our comments to ourselves. I think we're in a kind of unique generational bubble. And it's, for me personally, I'm sure you guys probably agree, it's frustrating because you just want to go see a movie and just let it be the movie, you know. But it's impossible these days you can't even go on YouTube
without getting
getting bombarded with stuff that you don't want to see, without having things ruined. What's her name's a social justice warrior, and it's tainting you, even if you don't want it to. It's tainting you.
Well, it'll shove it in your face, and you can't watch a video without an ad. But even if you watch a video, you get linked to another video as soon as it's done.
Seriously.
It's like, you can't get away from it. I remember when 1989 Batman, when that one came out. I wasn't that old, but I remember when that came out. Thinking back, I don't remember anybody saying anything political about it. You were bombarded with it. Yes, there was everywhere, but you didn't have people talking about, you didn't have Kim Basinger out there saying like, oh, we need more women in the industry. No. I mean, who cares? Like,
all people ever said about that movie was, Mr. Mom can't be Batman.
Right. That was a thing. that was a thing. But there was nothing really political about it. You know, it wasn't charged that way. And people very well had their concerns about that. People didn't know what Michael Keaton was capable of in that respect yet. But still, my point being that...
And just like Ben Affleck, as soon as everyone saw it, they're like, oh, our bad. Sorry. He's awesome.
Right.
Yeah. I guess Tim, like you said, it's going to continue on this kind of fevered pitch. It'll find its middle ground and tape, because people will just get bored. And no one's going to want to talk about the Me Too movement anymore, or the feminine movement anymore. And they're just going to, let's move on, you know. When that is, I don't know, but I think you're right. That's how it's going to be. Tim, do you want to have any final thoughts on this? I think we've drained the well.
Pretty much. Can't wait to see the movie. I try not to judge things going into them. That's why I avoid reviews and cinema scores and Rotten Tomatoes and everything. I feel that your ideas will taint me on what I like about it.
Right, and when it comes to a movie, I really don't want to know, because I'm not interested in what the actor has to say. That's their personal life. I don't care. You know, it's like when we did our Oscar show, and I was slamming actors for getting political. Doesn't concern me. Like, just make your movie. Like, I don't really want to know what William Shatner's like in real life. He's Captain Kirk. That's what he does. Like, that's what I want to see. If he has something he wants to talk about, like, about Mother Earth on Earth Day, okay. If I'm interested in Earth Day, I'll go. But it's not.
Tomorrow being Arbor Day and all.
Yes. If that's my point is like, just separate the art from the artist. That's all you have to do. It's that simple.
I agree. I mean, I think I've said my piece. So I'd just like to see all this crap stop. You said, Josh. Just, God, if they could just shut down the bloody internet, you know? You and I have talked a lot in the past about how, this is going back to our generation, movies, music, any form of media these days will never be appreciated the same way it was for us at this point 15 years ago, because of the internet. And it dissects and ruins.
Well, and it trivializes it.
It trivializes it, yes.
Nothing special anymore.
You're right.
It's very disposable. It's like junk food.
You know, even Captain Marvel.
I mean, if Captain Marvel were to tank, doesn't matter. They'll have another one out.
The next Marvel movie will be out in a couple months.
It'll be forgotten.
Yeah.
It won't matter. It's another in a month?
Month and change, actually. End of April.
I mean, look, Marvel hit a snag with, Iron Man 2 and Thor 2, but they're like, fuck it, keep plowing forward, and now no one talks about those. They move on.
No,
you know?
because they moved past them and they created better movies.
Yeah, well, like you said, Josh, it's disposable. Like all this effort being put into this stuff, it doesn't matter. Just let it go.
Unfortunately, some people don't see it that way.
I know.
Like when it comes to Ghostbusters, the 2016 Ghostbusters, when it comes to that one, do you think people are? I know. Do you think people are going to remember? Say like
controversy,
right? Do you think they'll remember the controversy, or just watch the movie and take it on its own merit?
In time.
Yes. People will forget about all that garbage that came with it and just sit down and watch the movie.
No, you're right.
It could be just entertained
My
by it.
son watched it, as you know, and enjoyed it. He has absolutely no knowledge.
Tim felt justified. He threw his arms in the air.
He's like, yeah.
Someone liked it other than me.
That's a perfect example. He has absolutely no knowledge of the political, goings on behind that movie. He had seen the original, but he certainly wasn't married to it like we are. He just saw it as a movie and enjoyed it for what it was.
That's like when we watched Ishtar growing up. We had no idea people thought it was terrible. We loved it. And then we grew up and found out that it was like one of the worst movies of all time. And we're thinking, what?
What movie did they see?
I was like, what are you talking about?
It really was one of the worst movies.
Well, I thought it was great. And
it's wonderful.
It didn't factor into... It never did, because that never crossed my path. It was just a funny movie. That's all. Anyway.
Yeah, so I think that's a good example. In 20 years, people will be able to watch Captain Marvel, whether it turns out to be Oscar winning or not, and it's not going to matter. Whether Brie Larson's smile or not is going to be, no one's going to care. Okay, I'm done.
All right, well, if you like to I can never say that word.
Subscribe.
Please subscribe to us on iTunes by hitting that subscribe button, and then give us a rating and a comment. Help us help the show grow.
What else are we on, Josh?
We're also on Twitter.
Anything else?
We're also on Twitter.
Tim?
No, you can also listen to our shows on iTunes. I'm not on iTunes. Okay, you can also listen to our show on YouTube.
Oh yes,
if you so desire. Although you won't see our faces.
Links to those, if you're interested, will probably be on the Instagram posts, right?
Twitter,
that's what I said.
We don't have an Instagram.
No, we don't.
We have Twitter.
We should have an Instagram.
Not really. Instagram doesn't sell
is it
podcasts.
Dead? See, I'm old. I don't know these things.
Twitter does.
Okay, Twitter it is.
You can also email us at pconblast@gmail.com.
With any show ideas you might have.
With any show ideas, or if you just like to...
Talk trash.
Until next time, I'm Josh.
I'm Justin.
And I'm Tim.